Ernest, keep coming. Yeah, the reason that I hold back on certain things is because exposing yourself on the internet is a really big thing, and I'm happy to do these talks, and I really love it, sharing non-duality, and I feel really honored that there's this platform to do that. But it's also quite a big thing, sharing yourself on the internet. It's not so much about what people think of me. It's more to do with it's more to do, I think, with that this subject's already quite alternative, and it's already really far out there, and I feel reluctant to say this. I don't fully trust the internet itself and what Google's algorithms are doing, and like how they're using that information about people. Like algorithms, I think, can tell what you're speaking about or subjects you're speaking about, and as that improves, like I don't fully trust it. Like I love the internet, but I also think the internet is dark as well, and I think I don't really fully trust how humans deal with that information. But that's maybe my darkness. Maybe if I release those thoughts, then maybe I'll be willing to share more, or maybe it's really wise. It's unknown, that part, like not to like fully expose yourself on the internet. It's a weird place, the internet, and maybe you've not thought about these things because you've never exposed yourself properly on the internet, but once you've been doing it for like 10 years, you learn a lot of things about exposing yourself on the internet. Hi Lily. So I don't mean to like say that I'm being fake. I'm being as honest as I can be within the provisions, within my own provisions, really. Like, so I'm genuine, but I'm a bit more loopy in real life, like yeah, a bit of a Looney Tune. Hi Lisa. Do you think, I know you most probably are thinking, oh my god, could she be more loopy, but I am. Do you think there's some sort of soul evolution taking place right now because of all the divisiveness going on in politics? Since Trump was elected in America, everyone seems to be getting more and more polarized and isolated from anyone with an opposite opinion. And there's such a different energy here. I feel scared and uncomfortable. I think everything will be balanced out ultimately, but that's my experience now. Hey Lily, thanks for your question. I love that name, Lily. Lily sounds so beautiful. Lily. Yeah, it's happening in Europe as well. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but it's all becoming more polarized. I remember saying to my dad, like in 2009, that I really thought the resolution for society was to give them all the information. And when people see all the information, like so when they have the internet and they have access to information, then this will create peace. And then I realized lately that that's not the case. You give them more information and they just become more polarized and more set in their belief systems. It's quite ironic. I didn't see that coming. I don't really know what's happening in society. It's really interesting how polarized we're becoming. I think there maybe is a bit of a bumpy time for us coming, as everything becomes more and more polarized. But in the end, I think it will sort itself out, because it's like, it's going to like the opposites of good and bad. And everyone else thinks the opposite is bad and they're good. Like, so the Trump people think they're the good people and they're saving the planet. And then you call it Democrats, we call it Labour in England. The lefties think they're right and they're going to save the world. And it's kind of getting more and more extreme. And then at some point, maybe those two extremities will collapse, and then what's left? One of our biggest illusions after you and me is good and bad, or good and bad. Like, good and bad plays so much of a part in our society, like what's good and what's bad. And it's such an illusion, because who is acting? Like, so we all blame Trump for the way he is, but it's actually the same God that's creating you and moving me. And we blame him and we say he's a really bad person. We don't really know Trump that well in Europe. For England, if you're British, we've got this person called Boris Johnson, which is just like Trump. And he too is the movement of God. Like, everything that he does and speaks is the movement of the divine. And that to the mind is so radical. And that to me was, when I was waking up, one of the greatest teachers my teacher gave to me was this idea of what's good and bad. Being an empath, I have a strong sense of what's right or what's wrong or good or bad. And him showing me that in the end, we don't know. It's what's happening. It's what life is creating. And there isn't actually a separate person that's acting. It doesn't mean that people don't take responsibility for actions. That's what happens, is people take responsibility. But on the ultimate, we don't know why things are appearing in their apparent manifestation. We don't know why that's happening. And if you look at it from a bird's eye perspective, like if you look at it from the whole of humanity, like to us it seems like really terrible, these people taking the lead and trying to lead our society that have so much hate in their heart. But if you look at it from the entire creation, it's like a tiny, tiny, tiny drop of sand in the whole of eternity, like a tiny little speck. It's so small. And I know it feels so big. One thing I would recommend is like also stop watching TV and like the news reports about it and social media that's reporting about it. I think that's another way, because also we're not exactly sure that the media is a true thing. It could be a whole conspiracy, like we're all sitting at home believing this is how our society's run, but really it's run by like big massive computers and there is no politics, like everything is decided by a computer. It could be. We're not 100% positive that these politicians aren't just an act like in the Truman Show. Could be. Thanks, Hendrik.